very high. And seniors, they are struggling with their pensions because they cannot keep up with their high inflation cost, high food cost, and we have a carbon tax over that. So is government any plan to compensate the seniors so that they can go up with high inflation? Because pension is not enough so that they can have their earnings. We see that on all the social media, that's the issue with seniors.
Previous Minister of Seniors, I am very happy to talk about the government's work that we have been doing since 2015 to support seniors. You know, as some of you may know, in 2015, when we first got elected, one of the very first things that we did was to ensure that we bring back the age of retirement to 65 from 67, which the previous government wanted to raise to 67. We knew, when seniors are working incredibly hard, it was really important to make sure that we support them where they are. One of the other things that we did was we actually increased the guaranteed income supplement. That has actually helped 45,000 seniors in this country lift them out of poverty. At the same time, just last year, we permanently increased the old age security pension by 10% for those seniors that are 75 plus, because we know seniors are living longer, which is a good thing in this country, but we need to make sure that they're supported. So for an average senior, that was $800 extra. And one of the things I want to talk about is that all the benefits that the federal government has put forward to support seniors, you talk about the old age security, you talk about the guaranteed income supplement, the CPP enhancements that we have been able to do, all these are actually indexed to inflation. Particularly I want to talk about, if these benefits actually continue to stay up even when inflation comes down, which, as you know, for the last 3 months, inflation has been close to 3.9, 3.8%, which is good. If you look at our economy, we have a AAA credit rating as we speak right now. And one of the things that we're doing in this budget is, one of the things I will tell you that I heard from seniors when I was a Minister of Seniors was on for their dental health. It's so incredibly important that seniors, 1 in 4 Canadians do not have access to a dentist. We need to make sure that they're getting that support. The 9 million uninsured Canadians will be able to get dental care that they need. Just in the 2 weeks that the portal opened, more than 50,000 seniors for the first time went to the dentist for the first time, and they were not able to pay. They didn't have to pay anything out of their pocket. So as a government, while we see certainly, conservative politicians, which we have seen, they're now saying that they may actually raise their age of retirement again. As a government, we're going to make sure that we're supporting seniors, because we know seniors have built this country. They have supported us to make sure our generations can succeed, and we're going to do as a government everything that we can to make sure our seniors are supported.
You asked the question also about carbon pricing. One of the key things is you have to be mindful. If you look at how climate change is having an impact on our country, I've been dealing with disasters for a very long time, and because disasters were significantly increasing across the country because of climate change, the Prime Minister created this portfolio of emergency preparedness. So you have one minister in charge who can coordinate for emergencies. One thing I can tell you, the mayors or Indigenous leadership that I meet across the country, we want to actually look at preventing. How do we prevent this? Because if you look at the cost of dealing with disasters, it's into the billions every single year, which not only we will pay, our next future generations will pay. So the price on pollution that we have also implemented is the best mechanism, and the economists have said this, when it comes to fighting climate change. It promotes the innovation that's needed within industry to do better, but more importantly, the way it's done, it actually also helps the economy grow. In British Columbia, where there was a conservative-leaning government at that time, brought this in, and our economy has also grown. Plus the fact they have 8 out of 10 Canadians that actually get more back on this. Because, and this is a really important fact, that Pierre Poilievre wants to take that also benefit away. In addition to kind of saving money for seniors that we've done for dental care and other costs, this will be one other thing that will also be taken away. But more importantly, you're taking the best mechanism that's actually helping to fight climate change. And if we don't do this, the young kids that are also here, right, their kids down the road will be looking at our generation and saying, what were those people thinking? We want to be a generation at our age now to saying that we took this on. We did not pass it on to the previous generations, because it will cost us billions, and it's going to get worse and worse if we don't take this action now.
Follow-up for Minister Sajjan. In the budget, it was mentioned because the crime issue is very serious and across Canada, and budget mentioned that we will get a scanners over the 3 to 4 years. We need scanners this year. Reason is we know every 14 minutes one car is stolen. And recent crash on Highway 401 where we lost 3 lives, a 3-year baby and grandparents. It's a tragic shock. And those suspects, they were out on bail and they had orders for last 2 orders from the court that they cannot be behind the wheels. Still they were behind the wheels. What if they were behind the bars so we could have saved those 3 innocent lives? What government is doing to keep the criminals behind the bars, not on the roads, because that is a serious affecting every single individual in Canada.
Yeah, and you raise a very good point when it comes to anybody who commits that crime needs to make sure that they are appropriately dealt with. And what we do with the laws is continually assess what type of laws are needed that'll actually have a deterrence effect. Now, if and as a former police officer and I'm working in gangs, working against organized crime, we dealt with a lot of those things. Some laws work, some laws need adjustment. One thing I can assure you, this is something that we take very seriously. I mean, I've had the experience. You also have Minister Blair, who was a former Toronto Chief of Police here as well. We have the right expertise to be able to know that what is actually going to work. So when it comes to tragic events like this, heart goes out to the families, but we're going to be learning. But here's one key thing. Yes, we'll look at the deterrence factor after somebody is arrested, and those are the things that we'll continue to. In fact, actually, we've actually increased our investments into our police and intelligence agencies. I know this for a fact because I've worked with some of the police agencies that are actually getting the benefits of this. And I just spoke with senior leadership of the Vancouver Police. We're bringing some new innovative ways of dealing with some of the things that could be helpful here, even in the Peel region, to share some of that work. And our leadership will be, from public safety, will be meeting with them to see what is actually needed. But one important fact, what we don't talk about, and others, some other conservative parties does not talk about much, how do we prevent? What we want to do is how do we focus on making sure that the kids don't go into a place where they need to be arrested? Because if they're arrested, their lives have already been impacted. Now, some of these, remember I talked about every child has a gift? I can give you countless examples where I knew gangsters that I arrested, right, they were amazing at school, but they weren't given the opportunity. Right? When parents couldn't provide the opportunity because they were so busy working, right? Because their mother had to also work because they couldn't have the child care benefits. Parenting, providing those resources so that at the end of the day with a child care benefit where you have $500, even sometimes $800 saving per year is the difference between a child getting a bicycle or going on a small little vacation. Those little moments has a significant impact. So yes, we want to deal with the aftermath of somebody being arrested, and that we will continually do, and which we aggressively have done. But one thing's for sure, what we want to focus on, and the difference between us and the Conservative Party will always be, that we will make sure that we focus on preventing the kids from even choosing that life, so they can find their self-worth and find that gift, and also be just a great contributor to society. Thank you.
I'll just add to that on auto thefts. Look, as a member of Parliament for Mississauga-Malton, this riding contains Pearson Airport. It's a transport hub. We actually have some of the highest rates of auto theft here and in Peel, so that's why I know this is an issue that's very important to the members that are behind me and to me. Recently, we just held an auto theft summit in Ottawa where we brought together manufacturers, local police jurisdictions, the CBSA, the RCMP, and a whole lot of other actors and stakeholders in this space to come and speak about the issue of auto theft, which is obviously a problem across Canada. And I sit on the Public Safety Committee, and we are studying this issue of auto theft as well. So I'm very familiar with the issue itself. If you look at Budget 2024, there are actually very actionable items inside Budget 2024, and one of those is in relation to bail. So we will changing the bail rules when it comes to auto theft, when there is the involvement of organized crime, when there is the involvement of violence in the auto theft, and when there is a recruitment of young people to engage in auto theft as well. So the bail rules are actually going to be changed to accommodate for all those things, to add aggravating factors. So again, this is an issue that's very important to me. It's an issue that's